Trees are great, right? Well, despite current world events overshadowing it somewhat, the Earth is in a climate crisis. But one way many individuals and organisations are attempting to combat it is with tree planting. Trees are sure to save the planet, right? Well, maybe? Tree planting is all over the news, from companies that pledge millions to plant trees to politicians using promises of more trees to further their campaigns. But is solving climate change really that simple? And if so, how many trees will it actually take to save our planet? The United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change produced a report in 2018 that suggested an increase of 1 billion hectares of forest would be enough to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees centigrade by 2050. This sounds like a lot. However, one study led by ETH Zurich showed that it might be achievable. Researchers used computer models to estimate the amount of tree cover that could exist across the world, and they found that 0.9 billion hectares of land not used by humans could be reforested. If these areas were allowed to grow into mature forests, 205 gigatons of carbon could be stored, removing CO2 from the atmosphere. There are already people trying to make this happen. In 2006, Plant for the Planet launched the Trillion Trees campaign and has planted over 13 billion trees since then. The Great Green Wall initiative was started in 2007 by the African Union, aiming to plant a barrier of trees south of the Sahara to stop the desert spreading and to improve local livelihoods. Recently, influential YouTuber MrBeast announced his #TeamTrees campaign. For every dollar donated, a tree will be planted by the Arbor Day Foundation. As of filming this video, over 22 million trees have been planted. 2019's general election here in the UK saw each party competing not just on how they would deal with Brexit or the NHS, but also on how many trees they would plant. Labour were the most ambitious, promising to plant 2 billion new trees in England by 2040, whilst the Conservatives promised 30 million a year until 2024, with other parties planting numbers in between. Despite all the positives of planting trees, we could be oversimplifying the problem. Trees might be a way to reduce the carbon in our environment, but they won't necessarily help to protect biodiversity. We need to be rebuilding and restoring our ecosystems and all they encompass. Here in the UK especially, restoring our forests to their former glory is going to be more challenging than it seems. We have gotten used to walking through our woodlands and being able to see for metres ahead, yet healthy and natural woodlands should be covered with a dense understory of flowers, grasses and other plants. So why are they not? The answer lies with the 2 million deer running rampant across the country, eating every scrap of vegetation they can reach. Until their population is controlled, perhaps by the reintroduction of a predator such as the Eurasian lynx, most of the new saplings planted will be nibbled to a pulp before they can become fully fledged trees. Even if they do manage to grow, our woodlands will still be just an area of planted trees, without the other plants needed to support a thriving ecosystem. The Scottish Highlands demonstrate this. They are often associated with open moors and heathland, yet these environments are far from natural. Only 1% of the native pine woods that once covered Scotland remain. If the key species such as lynx, wolves, beavers and boars still held healthy populations in the Highlands, the area would be covered in a mosaic of habitats, the majority of which would be forest. Planting trees will not solve the lack of forest here, as saplings will only be grazed. It is only by introducing our once native wildlife that we may witness a slow restoration of these fully functioning ecosystems. In addition, many locations around the world, trees could be damaging. Areas such as savanna and temperate grasslands are just as important in sustaining biodiversity as forests. Yet planting trees here could cause the destruction of these ecological systems and their unique wildlife. There could also be unintended consequences. For example, a forestry scheme in northwest China planted trees to provide a shield against dust storms. They successfully protected people living there from the dust storms, a positive development. But the growth of the trees then led to water shortages in villages downstream. So how many trees will it take to save the planet? Well, we know how many trees it will take to limit the effects of global warming, but perhaps this should not be the focus of our question. Rather, it should be, will planting trees be enough to save the planet, as well as the biodiversity it supports? It seems the answer may well be no. We need to be working at the root of the ecological crisis and spending money on managing and restoring our ecosystems, as well as replanting our forests. Before you next donate £1 or $1 to plant a tree, think to yourself, where is this tree going? Is it going to improve the local ecosystem? And more importantly, will it even reach maturity at all? This is a truly fascinating topic, and I've barely scratched the surface. I've not covered the long-term effects of planting trees. For example, during their lifetime, trees may lock away carbon, but when they die, that carbon can be released once more. Monoculture forests can be susceptible to disease that threatens to cause the failure of the whole forest. There is a risk that in people's keenness to plant trees, they might plant non-native trees that do more harm to the ecosystems than good. There is so much more to talk about, and if you'd like to see more on that topic, let me know in the comment section. I may well make another video about it. I want to thank Future Ecologist for writing and providing the article on which today's video was based. I'll leave a link to her YouTube channel down below, so make sure you check that out. And if you found this video interesting and want to see more, make sure to subscribe. I'd love it if you were to leave a like on the video. It really helps promote the video. What are your thoughts on tree planting? I'd love to hear them, so please leave them down below in the comment section. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.